Hey, what's up, guys? Today we are gonna be doing a somewhat lengthy review slash my thoughts on the iPhone 16 Pro Max 1 year after its launch. So I don't wanna, spend time dilly-dallying on anything unnecessary. These are purely my thoughts with my experience on this device, and this was purchased by my own funds, and there's no partiality or any kind of biasness here. It's just my experience with the phone as such. So let's get into it. So for starters, about next week, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, 17 Pro, 17, and I believe the 17 Air is coming out, and iPhone 17 Plus would not be a thing, which has been a thing for a while. So they have that space which they are playing around with. First it was a mini, then it was a plus, now it is the Air. So we'll see what sticks. Coming to the 16 Pro Max, as of 2024, this is their flagship device, and even for the most part 2025, and this is the cream of the creme de la creme of what Apple has to offer in terms of iPhone. So first of all, coming to the phone, I've been rocking it for quite a few months now, and I think I have my experiences on lockdown here. These are the accessories I've used with the phone. That is a Nomad leather case, Bullstrap MagSafe leather wallet. I had the Apple one also, but yeah, this comes in clutch a lot. So MagSafe for the win, I guess. And now Pixel also has that, and good for Pixel users. It should be a universal thing. Other than that, I don't really use MagSafe for charging or anything like that. Uh, Coming to the phone, yeah, another thing I picked up a few weeks back, I think about a month now, is the Bullstrap leather case. So as you can see, camera control is done a bit differently on both devices, and I'll get to that. So for the purposes of this video, I'll take the case off. See, I've not been a case person for a long time actually. The only reason I enjoy using cases is because I like the feel of leather, and that is primarily why I use a case. Now, depending on the day, you may find me not using a case whatsoever. Yeah, now coming to the phone itself, the body has held up incredibly well, primarily because it's been in a case. There are no scuffs or scratches as such on the titanium rails or the back. A lot of times I've seen that people have had their camera rings here discolored, but that has not been the case with me. That I think I can see it being an issue if you place a phone like this, and especially without a cover. I, however, keep my phone like this, so for the most part. So yeah, it does hasn't been an issue. Like I said, MagSafe has been a incredible part of owning an iPhone. I'm coming from a 12 Pro Max, so I'll mention that where it is relevant. But yeah, MagSafe has been something. I'm still rocking the 12 Pro Max. In fact, it is what I'm recording this video on, and this is something which I keep switching between both the phones depending on my needs. Outside of that, what else? I'll say the color is gorgeous. It's very stealthy because there is this, black titanium has this matte black sides to it. Now, before the iPhone 15 Pro, we used to have stainless steel like on the 12 Pro Max. I really prefer the glossy sides. It makes the phone look more premium and kind of like a piece of jewelry than a device. This looks more utilitarian. It looks like something which Batman would be using. Coming from a 12 Pro Max, the action button is something which is new. I've mapped it to, see the focus modes. Initially, I had mapped it for reduce interruption specifically, but I find that for modes like sleep and all, if I'm going to sleep at an odd time, if I'm wearing my Apple Watch, and if I need D&D, I find that this is a more useful function to it. I have never once thought of mapping it to the camera, primarily because I think there are plenty of ways to access the camera. By default, iOS has a camera toggle here, which I've replaced with the flash and ringer on this side. You can also access the camera like this, so kind of redundant to have this function assigned to the action button, in my opinion. And with the 16 series, we now have this camera control button. Another thing I wanted to mention is the sides for the titanium phone. They get very fingerprinty. As you can see, I just took off my cover, and this is already the result for it. I assume that this would be better on the lighter color phones such as the National Titanium and the White Titanium or whatever that is called, and even the Desert one. Outside of that, what else? Yeah, so this is an anodized treatment on titanium. That means that you know how anodized aluminum phones just scratch up on the side and they just show the metal and it looks ugly. That is an issue with this phone as well. I have not had that issue yet because my phone stays on a cover, but in case I did, that is what would happen. That is what happens with the camera rings that I mentioned earlier. So be warned. Uh, what else? The display has zero scratches on mine because of the screen protector. Coming to the screen protector, this is a Spigen one with the auto apply thing, whatever that is. I had an ESR 3-pack screen protector previously. There were 3 of them, and I wouldn't recommend ESR screen protector at all. It sucks. 2 of them just cracked at the same place in my pocket. I don't even know how. It just went on like this on the exact side. And okay, one of them was my fault. I dropped something heavy on it and just shattered. But yeah, the Spigen one has held up incredibly well. The display is fantastic with 2000 nits of brightness, and you know how iPhone screens are. They are very top of the class, and I think they are manufactured by Samsung. So this is something I don't have any issues in viewing in daylight or anything like that. I love the display on this. The angles are also great. Let me see. Something I really find very, I guess, kind of quality of life to some degree. Oh, wait. To some degree, and is the extended bezels. So for those who don't know, the previous iPhones used to be 6.7 inches and this is now 6.9 inches. The only difference is if you put it side by side with an older phone, you can see the larger bezels on that. This is also slightly taller, not that it's noticeable to me, but it feels very futuristic. As you can see, let me just open a photo. I think that serves the concept better. So yeah, so you can see this photo, it just goes edge to edge. It looks very futuristic, like it's almost a complete screen here. So that's something I'm a fan of. A lot of people also mentioned various display touch sensitivity issues. I haven't had those, fortunately, not even once. And I haven't had any issues with the display as such. Outside of that, I'd say 120 hertz has been something which has been new to me coming from a 12 Pro Max. I did have a Galaxy Z Flip in between, which kind of died on me, and which is what prompted me to get this phone as my primary device, and my 12 Pro Max went down to the secondary. Yes, I noticed the 120 hertz if I'm looking for it, but it really does not matter to me. In fact, there have been times that I have picked up the 12 Pro Max and started scrolling, and the data on this phone and that phone are different because that I use for work a lot. So there have been times when I've picked up the 12 Pro Max and I've realized that I haven't realized that it is not the 16 Pro Max, and I've just been confused. So coming to that, dynamic island is also great, but it is not something, again, I don't really think that it is a huge benefit over the notch, nor is it a huge detriment coming from a punch hole camera from the Z Flip 4. I don't care about all that. I don't notice it. But a dynamic island ordering what do you call that? The sub activities that show up on the dynamic island, for example, let me just. So yeah, I don't want to get any copyright strikes. So you see this, I really love how dynamic island is baked this functionality into the hardware itself on a hardware limitation. And yeah, coming from a 12 Pro Max, I'd say USB-C is a clutch addition to the phone itself. You can charge it with whatever you want, like your laptop. Everything now is USB-C. So are your AirPods. And display, what else? Yeah, so the cameras are fantastic. Initially, when I got this phone, I didn't really think there was anything to write home about. But the more I use the cameras, the more I notice how great they are. Not that the cameras on the 12 Pro Max are bad, like you can see the quality of this video should be pretty good. But this is like maybe not night and day, but yeah, it is noticeably better. The videos are very stable on this, even compared to the 12 Pro Max. The 5x telephoto lens is also fantastic. The zoom and clarity on that are great when it comes to natural light. So iPhones do this thing wherein if you happen to shoot in the telephoto pictures at night, it defaults to the main sensor and just crops into that. So yeah, the 5x is great, and 25x is, I guess, okay. That's the maximum zoom you can get in on this phone. It's okay, but I guess to see what is there afar, and it's fine, but nothing fantastic. The depth on the primary sensor is great. The natural bokeh you get from that, even on videos and photos, are fantastic, and it's much more pronounced when compared to the 12 Pro Max. The only drawback I find with the main sensor is that the minimum focus distance absolutely sucks. And while that may not be an issue in normal lighting conditions, because you have the macro mode with the ultra wide that now supports, I think, what is it? It's a 48 megapixel camera now. I think both the ultra wide and the primary sensor are now 48 megapixels, with the telephoto only being a 12 megapixel camera. But the ultra wide now has autofocus as well, so that helps with the macro mode. Though it's not as good as the primary sensor, it gets the job done. Now the issue starts if you're trying to shoot something very up close in low light. Therein the ultra wide macro is not as good, neither is the primary, so you're stuck in a soup there. I Situations like that, I just prefer the 12 Pro Max. And outside of that, I think that's the only drawback of the cameras. I really love the saving of the data for the portrait, the depth data. That is, if it detects something through machine learning, that this is something like my dog's photo, that it can use benefit from a portrait mode photo, it automatically captures that data. So you can, post processing, you can just add bokeh to that and use it in portrait mode, which is not the case in terms of iPhone 12 Pro Max or anything. I think I am not sure when that was added. So yeah, that is I think it's a benefit of both the hardware and the software and the capabilities of the chip itself. Outside of that, I think that's about it for the camera itself. But something new with the 16 series is the camera control button. This is something which has been controversial, to say the least. So what I've done is I've mapped it to launch the camera and double tap, and you can see how quick it is, right? The screen is off, you just double tap and there you go, boom. So yeah, this is something I've used a lot, to be honest, with regard to launching the camera. And double tap ensures that it's not a false touch. You can also change the sensitivity of how much pressure you want to put in for the half focus. That is something I really like here. For example, I'll just show you. This is the zoom. Okay. So you can half press this to have your auto exposure and autofocus lock. This is something I really use, and you can feel the taptic feedback from this camera. Outside of this, you can modify this to do whatever you want. These are the three things I've set it to. There are multiple things that you can do, but I find that tone is something I rarely change at times depending on what I'm shooting. So I've kept that in. Exposure, I've kept it in, because sometimes you may find that you want to use a lower exposure or higher exposure. So, but to be frank, I just use it for the zoom in, and that too specifically for stationary objects, because when it comes to fast moving objects, if you use the camera control for taking it as a shutter, it sometimes shakes the phone. So it's very useful when it comes to stationary objects, assuming you're used to a camera's shutter button. But outside of stationary objects, I wouldn't recommend you use it. While not completely useless, I think it's not living up to its full potential to some degree. Had this been a physical button instead of that taptic half press, it would have been better, like they used to do on the old Xperia phones. So yeah, I am a fan of the camera control button. I am glad it's there, because it gives me additional functionality at the end of the day. And battery has been good for the most part. I get about 1.5 days of worth of use on a full charge, that is to 100%. Though I've limited it to 80 to 20%. By the end of the day, I'm usually around 25-20%. So I just happen to charge it then. My gripe is that my battery health, for whatever reason, has gone down to 99% at 153 cycles. I think it was at 99 already at 144. Whereas I've seen screenshots of people who have had fantastic battery health at even 200 250 cycles. So yeah, I guess just luck of the draw. Not that it matters, as long as you get the usage you want out of it, it's fine. And other than that, we're coming to the hardware. What else am I missing? The speakers are fantastic, much better than the 12 Pro Max. They feel like they are coming from a small portable speaker. So yeah, fantastic there. Beautifully balanced, good bass for a phone speaker. You can't ask for anything more. They're incredibly loud. Thermal issues are much better on this phone when compared to the 12 Pro Max. I have never had this heat up to a point wherein it was uncomfortable to hold. Well, never is not exactly correct. Once what happened was my phone was in my pocket and I don't know how the camera launched itself. Uh, but the phone heat up incredibly hot, right? I was feeling a lot of discomfort in my pocket, and that's how I knew something had happened. I took it out, and that was the only time this phone got incredibly hot. Outside of that, even during updates, it does get warm. That's normal, but it's not as hot as the previous generations. I think Apple has done some work. They mentioned it during the keynote, I believe, and it shows. Performance again is spectacular, and this phone never misses a beat. Coming to the A18 Pro, whatever the chipset is in this, I mean, you would expect that, as even the 12 Pro Max here does everything I needed to do. Now, I think that rounds up about the hardware of the phone after a year. So coming to the software, iOS 18 was alright in the beginning. It had a very annoying bug wherein if you launch the camera, it just had a black screen. That was fixed after an update. There's no issues with iOS 18 now. It's incredibly stable, amazing battery life. Everything is alright. No bugs, nothing to write home about anyway. And something that this phone introduced is photographic styles, which is something I really like, because you set it up once and then you don't need to worry about it. Just needs to show what kind of uh, photographic style you want, and it is not exactly a filter. It's more of a let's call it an ambient effect that attached to your photos, and you can edit it later on in once you've taken the photo. So yeah, it's fantastic. You can also edit it on the Mac or older devices, even if those cameras don't support it, which is a great thing. And as of right now, you might have noticed I'm running iOS 26 beta. It's very stable as of now. The issues I'm having with it, well, the previous beta, that is beta 8, had terrible battery life, battery drain. I don't know why. Beta 7 and 6 were fantastic. Didn't feel like a beta. Beta 9 doesn't feel like a beta. It feels like a full-fledged software. The only issues I'm having now is uh, there are and I must mention that usually in betas you have a bit of heating issues. I haven't experienced anything because I got on the beta train only on beta 6, which was very stable, like I mentioned. So the only issue I've had with it on beta 6 is that the control center once locked up on me, which was very weird. I mean, what happened was, let's see, if I went into this edit mode, it was just stuck there. I couldn't move anything. Of course, that's not an issue anymore. And at times there are issues with icon rendering, like now it's in this glassy tinted mode or whatever this is called, right? Occasionally icon or two will have color randomly out of nowhere, so that is something which is a little weird. And the icons render a lot of times randomly from the home screen to the app dock, and that's, I think, visual glitches, but nothing to write home about. Yeah, these are the only issues I've had. And of course, third party apps have not yet been updated, so you can see Google and YouTube widgets here kind of having some legibility issues, but yeah, you can still see what is there. These will be updated once the I'm not sure if the RC will fix it. Yeah, once the iPhones are launched and iOS 26 is available to the public, then the third party app developers can update their apps and fix things which are not working right now, which is just visual issues for now. Autoplay is something I really like on iOS 26. It's in beta, I believe, but it basically works like a DJ, and then it mixes songs together. Outside of that, what else? Oh yeah, this the main gripe with this phone. The main gripe with this phone has been Apple Intelligence, which was overhyped and it was not absolutely not worth it. What it did is basically rewrote your messages or whatever, which I didn't need anyway. I don't use it. The only thing I use Apple Intelligence for on this phone is for summarizing my notifications for messages and things like that. But yeah, that's about it. uh, so essentially, would I recommend this phone? Yeah, another thing I wanted to mention coming from the 12 Pro Max is that the rounded sides are quite nice, comfortable to hold. They're not as sharp. uh, so would I recommend it? Yeah, it's a fantastic phone. If you want to pick it up at 2025, this phone is not gonna miss a beat. It's amazing. You can just go for it. The thing is, iPhones have become a bit boring, but they're very reliable. That is the primary reason I stick to using an iPhone, and I have been using an iPhone for a long time now. Another thing which I really don't care about, which a lot of iOS users do care about, is iMessage and FaceTime and things like that. That is a thing which people are just focused on inside US. Outside of US, nobody really cares about iMessage and FaceTime. People just use WhatsApp and other apps and things like that. So yeah, that's about it. That's how the iPhone 16 Pro Max works, uh, and what it is like 1 week before iPhone 17's launch. Yeah, once the 17 launches, if you can find a good deal on this, you can go for it. That's about it. Hope you found the video helpful, informative, and maybe it helped you making up your mind whether to get this or 17 or whatever. So yeah, that's about it. Peace out, and like and subscribe to the channel.